Now that you're familiar with the WordPress dashboard, let's take a look at how themes work with WordPress and how we can use them to customize the look of our site and create a great looking website very quickly. So like with the plugin ecosystem, WordPress has a huge theme ecosystem, which we can see at wordpress.org/themes. Now all of the themes on wordpress.org are completely free, so any of these we can recreate with the touch of a button. We can also look at the most popular themes to get an idea of what some of the best themes might be. And we can search by filter as well. So we can look for specific color schemes, specific layouts, specific features or subjects, or even just search for a general topic. So if, for example, we were looking for a business theme, then we could search for those and add whichever one we like the look of. We can do that within WordPress itself. So any theme that we find on here, we can search for within WordPress. So to add a new theme, we click Add New in the WordPress Appearance Themes section. And then we get all of the search options that we just saw on wordpress.org. And we get a bunch of the most popular themes as well. I'm going to, for the moment, choose Serif Light, and we'll just see how we can customize this particular theme as an example. So just like with plugins and updates, we can install themes without having to download any files. We can just click Activate there, and then that will make the theme happen. We can use live preview if we want to see what it looks like before actually making it live. But as we're just developing, we might as well go for the whole thing. So you can see there that's changed the look of our site, but it hasn't changed the content. Already though, I think it looks a lot nicer. So once you've chosen your theme, it's time to get to work customizing it. So this particular theme has a Get Started link, which has an FAQ about how to do various things, which is one of the things I like about it. Some themes will have this, some won't, but it also has some actions required to set it up. So let's follow those steps. So first off, Serif Light, like a lot of themes, comes with a homepage template. But to see that, we'll need to change the reading settings to your latest posts. So you might remember we changed that to show our particular page. So we'll just change that back to front page displays latest posts, save changes, and then we'll do a refresh. And we should now see the default Serif homepage. And there we go. So you can see this might not be the sort of site that we're looking for, but if it is, we do have something that looks pretty impressive just from a couple of clicks. We're going to want to customize the content here though. So let's see how we do that. We'll go back to Appearance and About Serif Light and Actions Required. So some themes come with specific plugins, and this one requests that we install Pirate Forms, which is a particular form plugin that makes the form setup management process much easier. So I'm just going to go through the process and activate that particular plugin. And then let's go back to About Serif Light and see if we've done all the setup steps. We've still got one more thing to go. So let's actually just check that the contact form is working. So we'll do a refresh and make sure it looks good. There we go, it looks really nice. If we want to customize that form, then once you install a plugin, then usually under Settings, you'll see an option for that new plugin. So we go to Settings and Pirate Forms, and then we can see how to add our form to any page. We just use that code. This is known as a shortcode, and quite a few plugins use this. So it's square brackets with some words inside to produce some content, in this case a form. And then we've got various options. So if I was going to use this, I'd definitely want to change the email address there. Some other options, I can change which fields are displayed and whether or not they're required. the labels for those fields, the messages that will be sent, and any SMTP settings if I want to use a particular email server to send your emails. Alright, so now that we've set up Pirate Forms, let's go back to Appearance and click on Customize. So pretty much every theme will have a bunch of options, and most of those will edit through the WordPress customizer. Now the great thing about this is that we can see the results of the changes that we make immediately, before they're even published on the site. So if we click, for example, Site Identity, then we could upload a logo, we can change the title and the tagline, and we can upload an icon, which is what appears in the browser tab up there, if we wanted to. Okay. Changing the section order and colors in this case is only available on the Pro version of the theme. And if you like this theme, it's well worth buying the Pro version, but we'll stick to the free options for the moment. So general settings, you might want to change these to increase the performance of the site, or the scrolling behavior, or indeed the accessibility. And copyright, we could put whatever we like in there, and then it will appear right down there at the bottom. If we wanted to put the copyright symbol, we can use the HTML code & copy semicolon. And there it is. Okay, we can also edit the footer social icons. So you could put in your own Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Behance, Dribbble and Instagram links. And if you don't want them to appear, if you don't have a Dribbble account, for example, you can just make them blank and then they'll disappear. We can also change the footer content here. So you can add your address, edit the address icon, and similarly for the email section and the phone number. Note the special href here. It's got a TEL in front of it, and that means that if you click on that on your phone, it will actually phone that number. Okay, so that's the footer options. I'm going to speed through the rest of the options. So here we can edit the title on the home page. Something like that. We can change what those links say. And where they go as well. We can add extra images to the slider. And if we've got the Pro version, we can have a background video here as well. And then we can edit the particular sections. So here we've got our focus. So the title is currently features, and then you've got a subtitle here. And again, you can edit it live, and you can choose to hide that particular section if you want as well. And you can edit each of these content blocks just by changing the title, text, where you want the link to go, and the logo image. That's all pretty straightforward. The other sections then work in a very similar way, so we won't look at those specifically, but we've got the About section, which we can edit all of that. The Your Team section, again, we can customize that and hide it if we don't want it. Testimonials as well, we can hide that. And then the latest news is where our blog posts will go, if we've got any. Then we've got the contact form, and then we can change the background image for the contact form section. And I'm actually going to look at menus and widgets on a separate page, so we won't look at those here. And the static front page just allows us to use our own page rather than this one as the home page if we want to. So not all themes will have all of those options. Some will have different options, but all of them will have a customizer that allows you to edit colors, content. Okay, so we're nearly there with our customizing. We're going to go back and just look at two more sections in Appearance, which are going to be relevant regardless of which theme you're working with. And the first of those is widgets here. Now, most WordPress themes have two main sections for widgets. They have a sidebar, which isn't actually visible here, but other pages may well have it. If I click sample page, for example, that will jump to the sample page and you can see the sidebar here. And they also have a footer along the bottom. And usually you can edit the sidebar and the footer using widgets. So here you can see we've got all these widgets in our sidebar. At the top we've got a search bar, which is there. And then we've got our recent posts, which we can customize and give a particular title to, comments, archives, categories, meta, etc. So say we didn't want to give a meta section, we could just delete that there. And say instead of that we wanted to put some text at the bottom of our sidebar. Then we can just add a text widget and put in any HTML we like. And let's just have a quick refresh. And there it is. So there's our text and our text or HTML. So if there are custom things that you want to put in the sidebar, like login forms or something like that, then there are plugins to allow you to do that. But most themes will also come with a set of widgets, like the serif ones here as well. And then we can do the same thing in the footer. So currently the footer section is blank, but we could put an extra widget in there if we like, and then that will appear in the footer. There it is. Not superbly aligned, we'd have to do a bit of work to make that look good, but you get the idea. So widgets are how you customize the sidebar and the footer. And the last major bit of customization you're probably going to want to do is to play around with the menus. So some themes will have a number of different menus. We can see that this one has just a single menu along the top there. And the nice thing about menus in WordPress is that if we add a new page, so just click add new, and then we might have an about us page. Which I can just create there and publish. See how quickly and easy it is to create a new page. Then not only do we then have that new page, but it will automatically appear in the menu up here as well. So that's really handy. But if we want to customize our menus, then we can edit that here. So say, for example, we don't want the sample page to appear in the menu, we'd just remove it there. Or we could also change the name that appears, or change anything we like about that menu. We can also create a new menu if we want, and then it might appear in the footer, for example, or in the sidebar. All fairly straightforward. The last thing I want to show you about appearance is the editor here. And we'll leave that page, we won't save our changes. Now this is where the real coding gets done. So this is the theme code here, which is mostly PHP, but we've got a lot of styles as well. And this is where you would edit the theme if you want to do some custom restyling or changing the content in a way that you can't do using the customizer or the widgets. Be aware though, it's easy to break stuff. So always take a backup of your site before you start editing these files. Alright, so I hope you see then that at zero cost and just a few minutes of your time, you can create a completely custom site which looks good, is robust, and is easily editable by someone who doesn't know any code. Sometimes though, you're going to find that the free themes either don't offer the exact look that you want, or just are not quite good enough for you to use for a site of your own, or make for a client. And the next stage up from that then are paid themes. And if you're wanting to make a site look really good, I would go straight to paid themes. There are lots of places to get them, but the biggest directory of paid themes online today is themeforest.net. And they've got a bunch of themes for all sorts of platforms, but we're particularly interested in the WordPress ones. So paid themes are normally around $50, $60. They're not big money, and the amount of time and effort that they'll save you and the higher quality product that you'll end up with, I think they're well worth it. So if we look at the best sellers, and I'll just switch to the grid view so we can get more on the screen, then any of these very popular themes are likely to work really well for you. So if we hover over them, then we can get a preview of how they look. Now, the nice thing about the most popular themes is that they tend to have a range of different looks and styles. So you buy the theme as a whole, but then you can customize it to such an extent that you could make a whole range of different looking sites using the same theme. Bear in mind though, you will usually have to buy a separate copy of the theme for each site. So in short, if you want to get good looking WordPress websites up quickly, my advice would be to choose a premium WordPress theme that offers a range of different styles and become an expert in that particular theme. That will mean that you can use the various settings, options, and customization potential really quickly and get something that looks great up really fast. And although all of these themes will offer a great experience, the one that I'm going to work through with you is the X theme. So let's have a quick look at what the X theme does. Like all ThemeForest themes, we can use live preview to take a look at it in action. Let's just remove that frame so we can see the whole thing. So you can see we've got a great looking site first off, but we've got a number of sub-themes within the main theme. So integrity is the first option, which is a more sort of businessy looking site. Renew is another more flat design. Icon for blogs and online magazines. And Ethos for more stylish looking sites like this country living one here. But where it gets really exciting is when we look at the huge range of demos that are available. And I'm just going to click just a few of these to open them in a browser. So there are 10 or so demos for each of the main themes. And each of the themes supports WooCommerce for an online shop, which we'll be looking at in a couple of videos' time. BuddyPress, which we saw in the previous video for social networks websites, and BBPress for forum type sites. So let's have a quick look at those demos. There's the integrity one. Looks pretty good. That was the renew theme. Again, looks good, but looks completely different. And then here's the icon theme as well. So none of those three may be perfect for your particular site. The chances are you'll find something in here that's pretty close to what you want. And all of these come with a huge range of content types as well. So for example, if I pick another integrity demo, we'll be able to use this slider on any of our sites and a counter like that, background images and buttons like this, and blog layouts like this. So while the X theme is by no means unique in offering these things, I think the overall package is the most flexible that's available. And therefore, if you're going to become an expert on one particular theme, I'd go for the X theme. And that's what we'll be using in the next few videos, where we'll be creating and customizing a couple of completely different sites using the X theme.